Coming to a bus near you. Indeed, would you do me a favour if you're driving now? There are 100 buses in London. If you're driving now, have a look. For goodness sake, keep your eyes on the road or the wheel or wherever you're meant to keep your eyes. But have you seen any of the buses that have this new advertising campaign designed to tackle Islamophobia? There are around 100 buses in London with this message on. I understand there are 60 in Glasgow as well, if you happen to be there. The posters will be on the sides of buses for between 4 to 8 weeks. It's also going to go, but not yet, but will go to Leicester, Birmingham, Leeds, Bradford and other places of Yorkshire over the next 6 months. The campaign is to try and tackle Islamophobia. It's, as I say, been unveiled on the buses, and it carries the message, Muslims for loyalty, peace and freedom. Behind the idea is the Ahmadiyya Muslim Association, and a representative, Naseer Din, who's president of that community, joins me now. Welcome to the programme. Why do you think Islamophobia is a problem?
Good morning, Nick.
Good morning, sir.
We've seen independent surveys that showed that Islam was misunderstood, especially in the UK, since 9/11, and our community has been established there since 1913. So the head of our community, worldwide community, Ms. Naseer Ahmed, instructed us that we should do an independent survey of our own and see what the findings gave. Mm-hmm. And the findings showed us that nearly 60% of the British public had very little knowledge of Islam and associated it with terrorism, which was totally against the principles of Islam. So one of the questions of the survey gave us an idea on how we should promote the true message of Islam, which in ethos is enforces loyalty to one's nation, freedom for all, equality of all, respect of all nature and all human beings, and to live in peace with oneself and to make a close relationship with God.
Okay. So, may I call you Naseer?
That's fine.
Could I ask you just to bring your mouth a little closer? We're just about getting it, but so
sure.
All my listeners can benefit if there's any closer to the phone. Naseer, is this the mosque in Merton? Is this the one I visited a few years ago?
Yes, I believe you visited the Battle for the Mosque.
I had a fantastic time there. I met just the nicest people, and there was a tremendous sense of calm and, serenity about the place. I had a thoroughly enjoyable day. Now, Naseer, have you seen the artwork? Can you describe how the poster actually looks?
On the London buses, we've had a trial. So on the red bus, it's a dark blue on the side. It's a dark blue long panel,
yeah.
And it says Muslims for loyalty, freedom, equality, respect, peace, and it gives our website address, which is www.loveforall.hatredfornone.org,
right.
which listeners can log into and then give them more details. We also have a telephone number on that website, which allows visitors and listeners.
You don't have to, but do you want to give that number out, Naseer? Or?
I can in a second.
Okay, while you get that, let me ask you this, and I must pick my words carefully. Would you accept, Naseer, that there are some people who misrepresent your faith, who have nothing but evil in their hearts?
Yes, I mean, unfortunately, extremism, crosses all
sure.
those boundaries, and in the name of faith, many thousands of people have suffered for time immemorial. But those that love God know that this has nothing to do with any faith at all.
But all the good efforts that you do, Naseer, and all your colleagues and imams, it only takes 3 or 4 idiots to burn poppies in a high street, and I would argue a lot of the good is instantly undone. Is that fair?
Well, I can tell you what our community did. The Ahmadiyya Muslim Youth Association, they raised over £50,000 for the British Legion during that same period. But nobody reported that. We had youngsters who had cans and worked with local British Legion offices around South London, for example, and went out and raised money. And, I'm sure the British Legion also were delighted.
So is the media in a sense part of the problem in your view?
I think so, yeah. I think, headline grabbing, sells, and that's what people focus on. And that really does damage the general community relations as well. And I think the media does have a role to play in giving the right news as well, and what the goodness that's going on.
Yes. Well. I mean, I know from having spent the benefit of an afternoon with your imam there, I know and I completely buy that the message of the Ahmadiyya is one of total peace, but many of my listeners would say, if they had the benefit of speaking, and I say, well, why don't you, this is a horrible expression, good Muslims, do more to sort of turn in the bad Muslims? Is that a fair criticism?
Well, I can assure you that in our community you will not find a single terrorist. No. And that's because, from a very young age, the ethos of love is inculcated in the hearts of Ahmadi Muslim children, and that was the philosophy taught to us by the founder, Mirza Ghulam Muhammad of Qadian, who claimed to be the Messiah and the Mahdi for the Muslims. And we try and preach to Muslims and to give them the true message of Islam, and many have accepted it. So, we are doing that within as well.
How do other Muslims view your community?
Being a Messianic community, obviously, it has opposition from some Muslims, and they don't all regard us as being Muslims, but the message we're giving is totally Islam, and I don't think any Muslim will deny that the message that's on the side of the London buses is anything but Islam.
Okay. How will we know if this campaign is successful?
Well, I can tell you, from the feedback that we had, an overwhelming feedback, we've delivered. We wanted to encourage members. It's all done by volunteers. And last year we had a pilot in London, actually, and so some of your viewers may have already received through the letterboxes or at their door. 1.3 million homes have had a delivery of this leaflet, which is love for all and hatred for none.
So why do you suppose, lastly, the Islamic Human Rights Commission, which monitors Islamophobia, says it's increasing? Why do you suppose that might be?
I think,
if it's us, if it's the media, please don't feel you can't say.
No, I think, unfortunately, the actions of some Muslims, and the media maybe have focused on those actions, has grabbed the attention, and the true Islam has not been reflected. And I think that organisation, should try its best to urge other Muslims to do as we are, and to encourage people to go out and not be silent majority, but get on their feet and deliver leaflets.
Do you have that phone number to hand by any chance now?
Yeah. If you can hold.
Sure. Well, I tell you what, if you give it to one of my team, I will put it at the end of my conversation. Naseer Din, thank you. Please give details to one of my colleagues, and I'll put that on. You're president of the London Ahmadiyya Muslim community, and indeed, please pass my best respects and regards to the Imam. I did have the most wonderful, wonderful time down there. Right, we'll talk about that aspect. Let's sort of step back and be a little bit more judging, not so much of the spirit, but the whole idea of a bus campaign. Do they actually work? Jonathan Gabbai helps us on all matters to do with conversations such as these. Do bus campaigns work, Jonathan?
Hiya, Nick. Do bus campaigns work? Yes, they do, because what they do is that they go straight into the heart of a community. They're literally in the heart of the community.
Right.
So, from that point of view, absolutely correct. Although I'm not sure, from what Naseer was saying, I think that the purpose of this campaign is excellent. It's a very laudable campaign.
Yeah.
But from a strategy point of view, I'm not sure it's the right way of doing it, because whilst it will create a lot of debate, and that's wonderful, because it's always good to talk. I would have gone about this a completely different way, because it could also highlight, in this case, instead of a product or service, it's highlighting a difference, which is saying, okay, this community stands for this, but that's kind of saying, well, we're doing this, but what about the other communities where this poster is actually going through? So it's like saying they're doing this, and how would that make the other people feel? So I would have done it a different way.
Is it, no disrespect to the faith, is it a tough sell?
It's a very tough sell. That's why, from a strategic point of view, what I think would have been a better idea would have been have something which, I know that one of these posters says Muslims for loyalty, freedom and peace, and as I said, that's a fantastic message. But I would have actually said it should have been something for Jews and Muslims and Christians, or everybody even, because you see, by actually pointing to just one group, it actually can stir up, unfortunately, I do stress unfortunately, the wrong type of debate, like saying, well, that's saying that you're doing it, but are you suggesting then that my faith doesn't do this? I
see exactly what you're saying. Thanks as ever, Jonathan. Jonathan Gabbai is a brand commentator. That telephone number is 0333 2400 490. There's giving out a phone number. There, that does happen sometimes. That's 0333 2400 490. That's a local rate number, I'm told. There are pictures of the buses with those posters now available on lbc.co.uk. Goodness me, how many bits of information am I going to give you? But the conversation begins now. Why is Islamophobia on the increase? And a campaign saying Muslims for loyalty, peace and freedom, will it challenge that effectively? That's after this. Have you seen the bus?